In a quiet town filled with whispers of the past, a peculiar object became the center of a court case that would leave everyone astonished. This is the story of a haunted mirror. Yes, you heard that right, a mirror believed to harbor the spirits of its former owners. But what happens when the question of ownership emerges and the living must confront the supernatural? The saga began with an antique shop nestled in the heart of the town, where the owner, an elderly gentleman named Mr. Thompson, had a knack for finding unusual items. Among his collection, a dusty, ornate mirror caught the eye of many passers-by. With its intricate frame and a glass surface that seemed to shimmer with secrets, the mirror drew an unexpected amount of attention. Can you imagine walking past an object that seems to beckon you closer? That's precisely how many described their encounters with this mirror. It was said to reflect not just images but emotions, like a window into another realm. However, the allure of the mirror didn't stop at its beauty. Rumors began swirling about its haunted history. Local lore told of a tragic tale involving the mirror. It was once owned by a woman named Eliza who had mysteriously vanished one fateful evening. Some claimed she was trapped within the mirror, her spirit forever searching for freedom. Others dismissed it as mere folklore, but the stories only fueled the mirror's mystique. Now here's where things take a dramatic turn. One day, a young couple, Sarah and Tom, decided to buy the mirror. They were fascinated by its beauty and intrigued by the tales surrounding it. Soon after bringing it home, however, things started to take a strange twist. Late at night, they reported hearing whispers echoing through their house. Shadows flitted past their peripheral vision, and objects moved inexplicably. The final straw was when they awoke one morning to find the mirror cracked, despite it being untouched since they brought it in. Feeling unnerved, Sarah and Tom sought a paranormal expert who, after conducting a seance, revealed that the mirror was indeed a conduit for Eliza's spirit. They were advised to rid themselves of it immediately. But what do you do with a haunted object? In a panic, they returned to Mr. Thompson's shop, hoping to sell it back. To their shock, Mr. Thompson refused to take it, claiming he had a right to it. And so began the court battle over the ownership of the haunted mirror, a saga that would captivate the town. As the courtroom doors swung open, the tension was palpable. On one side stood Sarah and Tom, desperate to rid themselves of the haunting presence that had invaded their lives. On the other, Mr. Thompson, firm in his belief that the mirror belonged to him. He was, after all, the original seller. The courtroom became a battlefield of emotions, with each side presenting their case. Sarah and Tom argued that the mirror was not merely a piece of art but an object that had caused them distress and fear. They described the sleepless nights, the whispers, and the cracked glass. Their lawyer painted a vivid picture of their nightmare, emphasizing that no one should endure such torment. But Mr. Thompson was ready to counter their claims. He brought forward witnesses who had previously owned the mirror, each sharing their own eerie experiences. With every testimony, the audience's intrigue grew. Can you believe this actually happened? The courtroom was alive with gasps and whispers as stories of ghostly encounters poured forth. Some swore they felt an overwhelming sadness when gazing into the mirror, while others claimed to have seen figures lurking just beyond its reflection. Yet amidst the tales of terror, Mr. Thompson's argument hinged on property rights. He insisted that he had the right to sell the mirror, regardless of its haunted reputation. His lawyer contended that the couple should have known what they were purchasing, given the mirror's storied past. As the trial progressed, the judge faced a mounting challenge. How do you rule on the ownership of a haunted object? The stakes were high, not just for Sarah and Tom, but for the very fabric of the town's history. During the proceedings, a surprising twist emerged. A historian specializing in local artifacts testified, revealing that the mirror had once belonged to a prominent family in the area. They had faced tragedy and their spirits were said to linger. The historian argued that the mirror was not just an object but a piece of the town's heritage, a link to the past that demanded respect. This revelation shifted the dynamic in the courtroom. Suddenly, the question wasn't solely about ownership. It became about legacy. Who had the right to possess a piece of history infused with such emotional weight? In the days that followed, the tension escalated. Sarah and Tom found themselves increasingly isolated as townsfolk began to form opinions on the case. Some supported the couple, feeling for their plight, while others sided with Mr. Thompson, viewing him as the rightful custodian of the town's haunted treasures. As the court date approached, the couple decided to take matters into their own hands. They sought the help of a medium who claimed to communicate with spirits. During a session in their home, the medium revealed that Eliza was indeed trapped and needed closure. This breakthrough compelled Sarah and Tom to push for a resolution. They proposed a unique solution to the court, to create a town exhibit celebrating the mirror and its story. They envisioned a place where people could come to learn about its history, to understand its impact, and perhaps to connect with the spirit of Eliza in a respectful manner. On the day of the final hearing, the courtroom was packed. The air crackled with anticipation. Sarah and Tom presented their plan, passionately advocating for a communal approach to the haunted mirror. What would you do in this situation? Would you want to keep a haunted object, or would you rather share its story with the world? The judge listened intently, weighing their proposal against the backdrop of the town's history and the mirror's dark past. Mr. Thompson, however, was not ready to concede. He argued that the couple's plan was merely an attempt to avoid ownership and that the mirror should remain with him. He claimed it was his right to profit from its history, regardless of the supernatural elements surrounding it. The judge finally made a decision that shocked everyone present. Instead of awarding ownership to either party, she declared that the mirror would be placed in a town museum, where it could be preserved and displayed. Both parties would retain a stake in the exhibit, allowing them to contribute to its story and legacy. The courtroom erupted in a mixture of applause and disbelief. People stood in shock, many whispering about the unexpected outcome. As the gavel struck, marking the end of the court battle, the haunted mirror was officially designated a town artifact, an emblem of both the past and the present. Sarah and Tom felt a wave of relief wash over them, while Mr. Thompson begrudgingly accepted the ruling, understanding the mirror's significance now transcended financial value. In the months that followed, the exhibit drew visitors from far and wide. People came not just to see the mirror, but to learn about Eliza, her tragic story, and the experiences it had brought to so many. The medium returned to the exhibit for special events, helping guests connect with the spirit in a way that was respectful, creating a dialogue between the living and the dead. Ultimately, the court battle over the ownership of a haunted mirror transformed into a celebration of community, history, and the ethereal connections that bind us all. And so, the haunted mirror continues to reflect not just images but the collective stories of those who gaze into it, a reminder that some objects carry more than just their material worth. They hold the echoes of the past, waiting to be discovered. As you ponder this tale, consider, what stories might your own possessions hold? What connections do you have with the past? The truth is, sometimes the most valuable things in life are the stories we share and the mysteries we dare to uncover.